We're back, another episode of Bench Talk number 3. Here we go. Well, actually number 2 because we had the pilot episode, you know what I mean. But we're back. I might as well just use like this, shape up. So I want to maximize it. So see a lot of videos, you know what I mean. So first topic that we're gonna get off with, Karim Benzema. Can't believe it. After 14 years, he literally just won the Ballon d'Or last year as well. But he's about to leave Real Madrid by mutual consent. So about it. This year he scored 31 goals in 43 appearances. And then the year before where he won the Ballon d'Or as well, he got 44 goals in 46 games. So it's just letting you know appearances. So I guess why it's a bit shocking for me actually, to be fair, it's like, okay, he's had 2 good seasons as well recently. And for it to end, I know it's 14 years is a long time, but for it to end, it's still like, whoa, wow. That's a bit crazy at the same time, you get what I mean? So it's going to be interesting because now you can see now Real Madrid's going to usher the new era of players coming in, the younger generation, the next Galacticos as well. And to be fair, I just said it just now, Galacticos. So you always have to update. We know Real Madrid, they're like the Avengers, all the superheroes. So Benzema, first of all, great career, 14 years. I mean, in 648 games, he scored 354 goals. And he's had over 140 assists as well. So you can see, great career. And keep in mind as well, it's only the last few years he's been playing as the main guy. It'd be nice to see where it goes. I personally think it'd be so cool. He goes back to France, goes back to Lyon, his first club that he started. I mean, we know he can play top level, so I don't believe or think he needs to go to somewhere like China, to go to somewhere like what Ronaldo's doing now and play, or Dubai, etc. He doesn't need to go to these leagues all over the place. I mean, this guy alone has won over 5 Champions Leagues. The Champions League, he won it more than 5 times. And your last 2 years being there, top performances. Like even recently as this year, people calling him one of the best strikers in the world currently. So it'd be nice to see what Benzema does. You know what I mean? He's going to be a legend at Madrid. He's won way too much things, so he's going to be a legend for sure. The only thing missing for me for Benzema's career is not over. It would have been lovely if he'd be able to get 100 caps for France. I feel like that'd be perfect. Because remember, he's missed a lot of years of France as well, and then he just recently retired. So one of them things like, if he got those 100 caps, that would be great. But Madrid now, we're going to see what happens. But Benzema. Next topic, female sports. Whew. This one's interesting to me. So what I want to talk about here, female sports, why is there a difference in pay? Not going to talk about that too much because we all know the reasons why. It's all to do with commercial income and revenue that's being brought in. So if it's not generating enough revenue, obviously you're not going to be able to get high pay. My opinion, actually, to be honest with you, female sports here, it's more skilled. Definitely more skilled. So like if you look at football, basketball, you have to be more skilled. But the thing I want to talk about specifically actually in terms of female sports, the thing I want to talk about though when it comes to female sports here, it's also about the pay and the gap. But what I realise is that when it comes to intense sports, no one cares if it's female this, female that. So for example, track and field. Everyone loves track and field. We're all watching the Olympics, the Diamond League, etc, etc. No one be like, the females are running instead compared to the males, or the female. No, because the gap, the intensity in the sports is the same. So if you're sprinting, you can see females getting to 11 seconds, maybe even 10. You see most of the, if you see the 400 meters, intense, great. So because of that, and another guy can't be like, I could run 100 meters faster. Nah, you're not beating her at 11 seconds, or if she wants to on her day, she could probably get to 10. You're not beating her, bro. So because of the intensity as well, that's what helps. Tennis is another thing, intensity. Like especially when it was Serena's time as well. We was thinking that Serena could actually be one of the guys, like top guys. Forget top 50 or no, I'm talking the top ones that she could actually have a good back and forth, like oh yo. So for me, it's the intensity of athletics, especially in track and field, and tennis is why they can probably demand a bit more pay as well. Similar levels, you can see with tennis recently, prize money is equal to the same because just as many people are watching the female tennis as the male tennis. Like they're both lit, they're both good. So for me, when it comes to female sports, I don't think we should really be talking about the pay being the same and the big difference, because everything has to do with commercial. We should be talking about the intensity and how it makes everyone feel. So for example, talk about football. Yeah, I feel like with football, girls football is lit. If you watch it, it's actually lit. What they should do is make the pitches shorter by like 20-30 yards. So it's more of a back and forth game, entertaining. There's more actions taking place. If there's more actions taking place, in my opinion, more people's gonna wanna view it. They're gonna wanna watch the sport. They're gonna find it more entertaining. You might be able to bring in new fans. And then technically, it's a new product as well, because we've got the football, doesn't matter what league you watch, but we've got football from showing now. You can get from under 21s, international to the reserve games. Then we've got the every Saturday, Sunday there's football. And with male football, we can see it's very fast paced, fast, especially in the Prem, back and forth. Imagine you can add that element now to the female game, make the pitches just a bit smaller. Not because their skills are not good, not because they can't play, because they can play, they'll not make you, but think about how many actions now there will be in 90 minutes. So many actions. Gonna be able to endorse that game even better. For different types of reasons as well. Same for basketball. Basketball, I'll lower that hoop to 9 foot. Not because the girls can't shoot 10 foot. Again, action. More of the actions, entertainment. It's just going back and forth. Imagine now you're just seeing someone, a girl post another girl. You've got a 6 foot girl posting a 5'2" person. Like that will be lit. That would be so sick. So for me, female sports are definitely not rubbish, and to make up for commercial value, especially like in the sports such as football, basketball, you should make those sports like more actions. So like you can see in tennis, a lot of action in tennis, a lot of action. There's rallies, serves, good games. So we all like that. Same thing when it comes to I said tennis, sorry. Tennis, yeah. The same thing I said track and field or Olympics. You're sprinting, you're running, or you're jumping, or you're intense. And then the same could be applied now to football, basketball as well. Cut down, just make the pitches shorter by 30 yards. Same width, short length. Basketball, smaller hoops, 9 foot. Just for the dunking element. We all like dunks. You know what I mean? It'd be perfect as well. And then that would be good, because like I said, before we move on to the topic, we all like the action. With the action comes more commercial value, more eyes watching. Paige Keiki versus Tennessee, the YouTube thing, the YouTube boxing. We watched the boxing now. And they was like, yeah, that was a good fight. All the guys like, yeah, that's a good fight. We'll watch that again. Like people want to see them fight more because it's intensity. That's what we like. So that's what will bring up the difference in the female pay in certain sports to go up with the males. Female sports are definitely not rubbish. They're definitely very skilled, very skilled. But I feel like there's some tweaks because they can make for entertainment purposes. Because at the end of the day, it's a business, it's entertainment. That's why we all watch these different sports, because of our interest and to be entertained. Okay, next topic, Man City. These guys are about to get the real trouble. Like all the cups at the end of the year, season. None of this like, you know, you get the League Cup in Jan, then you win the Prem, and then FA Cup or something. Nah. They're about to get, well, they've got the Prem, locked that up a few weeks back. Literally just locked up the FA Cup. And then they have a chance for the Champions League game as well. So this is going to be this will just be a legendary season, and it will cap off everything that they've done as well. What do I mean by cap off? The last 10 years, like, City's come in, they've had superstar teams, and they've won 5 Premier Leagues within like the last 6 years. They won 7 in the last 10, I believe. So they've been dominating. Dominating, getting cups, setting the standards of play high standards, switching it up, doing. So if they're in the treble, you've got to say City's had one of the greatest decades, and they're about to go into another decade. So if they win this one, the new decade might just be even more levels, which is going to be crazy. So it's going to be interesting to see, first of all, if City can complete the treble. If they do it, I really want to give them hats off. You got to give them hats off, especially at the way they've done it this year. If you look at the title race, we can talk about that in another segment. The FA Cup win, and then the Champions League is going to be a tough game. I know it's Inter Milan, so technically, not even technically, City are going to be favourites to literally just slap them up. But it's going to be a good game because it's a one-off game, and we all know one-off game football, who knows what can happen. Both teams have people who can show up for big games, so it's really who's on it that day, prepared, ready, who's going to show up. That's it, who's going to show up. We know the standard that City can have, but Inter Milan, you know, going to keep it clean at the back, pretty much, maybe counter football, take their chances. Lukaku, we got to keep in mind, he had a bad World Cup. Even though he came from injury, he still had a bad World Cup. So on this big occasion, like today, well, not like today, but on that finals, he should be on it to dominate. Let his name be known. Prove a point to Chelsea, who has him on loan at the moment. So he's got a lot of things he can actually do to turn up. And then you've got the other players around him, Martinez, etc., who can play. So City, we're expecting them. I'm expecting it to be like a 3-0 slapping, maybe 2-0. But this game could be easily 2-1 or 1-0, 1-1 going to overtime or extra time. So it just depends on how it's going to be. So once that game is done, then we'll see if City actually cemented history with a treble. And then you can talk about them as being one of the greatest teams, as we're saying before, ever in the Premier League. And then the next topic will be, is City, or should I say, is Manchester even red anymore? Because it's been 10 years of it being blue, technically, even though we don't want to admit to it. It's been blue. And if City does this, now, does the Manchester history change? You know what I mean? Does that change now going forward? Because remember, it's going to be the younger generations, the kids that are 10, now watching football, seeing what's going on. So if City continues this for the next 10, 15, 20 years, Manchester can actually be seen as a different colour, different views, different everything. So this is actually like kind of key part of history when you think about it, actually, in terms of the reputation of Manchester, Man City, how it's going to look like going forward. It's going to be so interesting. And the reason I say that as well is because, for example, when I started supporting Chelsea, we were just regular team, top 6, top 8. So for me, when we lose, now I'm not doing great, it doesn't kill me that much. Because you start like, oh, it was alright club. And then go to 2008, well before that, 2006, what going forward, what's happening? We've got the money, we're spending, we're winning trophies, etc. So those new breed of Chelsea fans are a different way. The same's going to be for Man City now. It's going to be very interesting.